Today, we're breaking down exactly why we believe people globally are losing interest in cars in 2026. Now, a lot of what we're covering is US-centric, but trust me, this applies everywhere. We've actually pulled this together from talking directly to you guys, our viewers, along with dealership staff, industry insiders, and even the engineers building these machines. Obviously, this is just our take, but we live and breathe the car world, so it's pretty darn close to reality. Let's get right into it.
Picture this. You spend $50,000 on a brand new car, only to watch it lose half of its value in just 4 years. Crazy, right? Well, that staggering depreciation is honestly just the smallest problem. Today, we're breaking down the 5 core reasons people are fundamentally falling out of love with cars in 2026. Oh, and fair warning, reason number 2, it might actually make you angry.
So, let's kick things off with reason 1, the $50,000 problem. We really have to start with the most obvious hurdle here, and that's the money. Right now, the average transaction price for a new car in the US is pushing almost 50 grand. I mean, I never thought I'd actually say that number out loud for an average daily driver. That colossal price tag alone is making buyers incredibly cautious. And when we peek under the hood, so to speak, we start to see exactly why.
Because that sticker price, yeah, it's really just the tip of the iceberg. Your financing is way more expensive, and you're getting locked into those payments for much longer terms. Then your insurance costs go absolutely through the roof. And why is that? Well, it's all that modern safety tech. You've got extra airbags, radar, complex sensors literally packed into the bumpers. It means a minor fender bender now costs an absolute fortune to fix, so insurers are basically forced to charge more across the board. Add in the risks of extreme weather, like the increased flooding we're seeing in places like Illinois, and you get bumped into an even higher risk category. Top it all off with wild, totally unpredictable swings in gas prices depending on politics or just the week, and it all adds up to one massive financial risk that people just aren't willing to take anymore.
And honestly, this brings us to reason 2, which might be the biggest one on this entire list, the sea of sameness.
Look, the automotive space right now is completely flooded with homogenized clones. Now, this happens in every industry, sure, but right now there are just way too many models stepping all over each other. Ask any enthusiast and they'll tell you that taking a legendary, highly emotional badge like the Mustang and slapping it onto an electric crossover, well, it completely waters down the legacy of what that car historically represented. It basically turns it into just another homogeneous EV, right in the middle of a market where EV demand in the US is frankly really lagging. Brands are literally sacrificing their heritage just to blend in.
And the root of all this sameness, it's what we call the Tesla copycat formula. Think about it. When Tesla first showed up, it was a total shock to the system, right? It was a tech-first, car-second approach. But now, here in 2026, with supervised self-driving actually working properly in most conditions, every single legacy brand is just racing to copy that exact blueprint. Everyone is gluing a giant tablet to the center console. Everyone is rolling out these stripped-down minimalist interiors because, well, they're significantly cheaper to manufacture. Honestly, if there were only 10 cars like this on the market, it would be a neat little niche. But there are hundreds. Every brand is doing the exact same thing.
So you sit down in the driver's seat, and you literally have to ask yourself, what car am I even in right now? If you're dropping this kind of money, do you really want a cabin that feels completely identical to everything else out there? People want a sense of ownership, character, some identity with their vehicles. When everything is a carbon copy of a carbon copy, that magic is just gone.
And this next point is going to hit especially hard if you've ever tried to fix a modern car yourself. Reason 3, a rapid expiration date.
Let's look at the grim life cycle of modern car ownership. We all know cars are depreciating assets, right? At year 0, the absolute second you drive off the lot, you lose money immediately. Yes, even with the Toyota that historically holds its value well. Fast forward to years 4 and 5, and bam, you've lost 50% of the car's value. But the real kicker? That hits around years 10 to 15, when the electronics essentially reach their end of life. This right here is the terrifying financial gamble of buying a new car today. Think about it. 20 years ago, most cars could be fixed by almost anyone with a basic set of wrenches in their driveway, and those mechanical parts were available for decades. Today, it's not a mechanical part you can just bolt back on anymore. You're dealing with intricate circuit boards, delicate touchscreens, and deeply integrated computer systems that require highly advanced diagnostics. And here is the scary reality. These specialized components simply will not stay in the supply chain forever.
So you're basically gambling on whether you'll even be able to find parts for a modern car in 10 or 15 years, let alone find a mechanic outside the dealership who actually knows how to install them. That long-term uncertainty is turning a massive portion of the market totally off from buying new.
Now here's a reason that hits a bit closer to home, specifically for anyone who actually loves driving. Reason 4, losing the driving feel.
There is this massive disconnect right now between what engineers are building and what drivers actually want. The industry is on this clinical pursuit of perfect rational metrics, right? Chasing 0 to 60 times, perfect quarter mile and lap times, and incredibly smooth, highly isolated electromechanical systems. But enthusiastic drivers, they actually crave a visceral, irrational experience. They want the roar of a loud V8, V10, or V12 engine. They want a physical, tactile connection to the road and that brash action movie fun. The industry is adding all this weight, complexity, and massive engineering overhead just to make the ride clinically perfect. But in doing so, they're entirely erasing the visceral thrill of actually controlling a machine.
As one enthusiast put it perfectly, a lot of these performance cars are trying to do way too many things at once, instead of doing the one thing they're actually supposed to do: make you want to get in and drive. Look, advanced assistance systems are totally fine for commuting from point A to point B. We already have enough cars on the road that basically drive themselves. But the cars that are explicitly sold as fun have completely lost their soul, all because they prioritized a sterile spec sheet over human emotion and the actual feeling of the drive. Which brings us to our final point. Reason 5, half-baked tech overload. Now, to be crystal clear, we aren't talking about genuinely helpful safety tech here, like airbags or blind spot monitoring. No, we are talking about deeply frustrating, unavoidable daily interfaces. Automakers are ripping out decades of proven, incredibly intuitive design. They're substituting perfectly good physical, tactile controls with giant, distracting screens. They are literally removing actual grab-and-pull door handles and replacing them with non-physical digital buttons. Every simple climate or radio adjustment now requires navigating a touch interface, forcing you to take your eyes completely off the road. It's honestly a snarky absurdity to rip out buttons and knobs that have worked flawlessly for a century just to force half-baked, often glitchy digital interfaces onto totally alienated consumers. The ultimate truth here is that humans just aren't evolving as fast as this tech is rolling out. When you get into a car, you rely on muscle memory. You crave consistency. Things that just work every single time without a second thought. But when every essential function is buried in some digital submenu that might randomly lag, our instincts literally cannot keep up. Instead of making the driving experience feel advanced or luxurious, this forced technology is just causing real daily fatigue for the driver. So, let's quickly recap all of this. We are looking at a landscape defined by massive $50,000 price tags, paired with terrifying depreciation, a total sea of copycat sameness, rapid expiration dates on unfixable electronics, a clinical loss of the classic driving feel, and just exhausting tech overload. It's a lot to process, I know. Now, there are absolutely ways the industry can walk this back and make cars accessible and appealing again. But honestly, that's a whole different explainer. For now, I want to leave you with a question. Are you buying an EV next, or do you think this entire trend is going to reverse? Drop your take in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me to break this all down. Keep learning, stay focused, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.